Aloha, jazz lover, wherever you are in the world. It's time for another Jazz Intersection interview. Today we have the pleasure of having with us a professor, clinician, and jazz musician. Let's just say he's a living legend of jazz. The one and only bassist, Ron Carter. Aloha, Ron, and welcome to the Jazz Intersection.
Good afternoon to you. I guess it's afternoon, or morning to you, because it's an afternoon in New York, about 1:30 or so in New York. So good morning to you and your fans.
Oh, thank you, sir. Hey, how you been doing, Ron?
I've been good. I'm enjoying my first 2 weeks of not working. Been a very long time, so I had a chance to change some light bulbs and fix a couple of doorknobs in my apartment and practice a couple hours every day.
I got you. How's the family?
They're doing very well, thank you.
Speaking of, how's that, I know you wrote a bio, right?
Yes.
Finding the right notes?
Finding the right notes. I'm still looking for them. I'm finding some.
So how's that going?
It's doing very well. It just went on the e-book, is that that's called these days, I think, where you can order the Kindle and Nook and that kind of stuff.
Right.
It just went on that 6 months ago, and it's really doing well through that.
Oh, great, great.
So Ron Carter, Finding the Right Books, and it's with Artist Share as the publisher.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What do you think about Artist Share?
Well, they're like a clearinghouse, you know. They're the people who send the books out for you, and I would like to have them be maybe proactive in sponsoring book signing events. But now that this e-book is all over the place, there's no need for them to get that into that part of the advertising of the product, the book or the records. But they have some nice books and some nice records there, so they're doing okay with me.
Yeah, I see there. I've talked to other artists who, with the Artist Share, which is a fan-found music network, and they compensate artists directly from their work. Have you made a new cut lately?
I have one coming out September 13th called Ron Carter's Great Big Band. It's 17 pieces with arrangements by Bob Friedman, and people playing in the band are Russell Malone, Mulgrew Miller, Jerry Dodgen, Steve Wilson, Steve Davis, and Louis Nash, to name a few of the 17 guys who will be working in New York.
In your bio, it's noted that your musical genres are orchestral jazz, mainstream jazz, and third stream. Now, the third stream, which is coined by Gunther Schuller, explain that to the audience.
Well, originally it's an attempt by Gunther Schuller to define the kind of music that employs classical music with jazz music. Eric Dorphy was one of his favorite people to do this. But, you know, I don't want your audience to get, or readers of my bio, to get caught up in the definition of what music, the words, how to define what I play. I kind of define me as a very talented musician whose focus is on jazz. And I hope that when they come to see me play somewhere, they don't get caught up in trying to describe people what I play, just that they enjoy it and they should go hear them for themselves.
I got you. All right. You started to be a classical cellist in high school. You started out as a cellist. Tell us that story. I like that story, how you end up switching to bass.
Well, it's not a very pleasant story. I guess most factual stories can't be pleasant, so it seems.
Right.
I was playing cello in the high school orchestra, and I felt that the orchestra was sent out on these various conventions to play orchestral music for a convention or for a meeting of people during their lunchtime. Should have included me, because I thought I played as well as the guys who were getting the jobs who were non-African American. And I thought the bass player was graduating the spring of 1950 5, so I felt that if they need a bass player, they got to call me if I'm the only bass player that's available. So I switched to string bass.
Interesting. Just 1 second, okay? Yeah. So that's it. That's an interesting story. You still practice cello. You still play. And as a matter of fact, on your debut album, Where, you play 3 cuts on the cello. Matter of fact, I've got that album right here in front of me.
It's a nice record. My first attempt to get it right, and I'm happy with the results. But right now, I kind of spend most of my time trying to learn how to play the bass, so I only play cello to fool myself.
I got you. Tell us, you have on here Eric Dolphy, and I heard you had a great relation with him.
Eric was my friend. When Chico Hamilton's band broke up, Eric moved to New York, and my late wife, who passed away 2 years ago, where Eric would come by once a week and she would show him how to cook a certain dish, because he had just moved. He didn't know how to cook, and he was clearly needed to know how he was going to be in New York. You got to eat something, Eric. So her job, I think, was she kind of adopted him, and she would show him how to fix certain meals, and we had a great time.
Oh, that's beautiful. How did you basically develop that sound you had?
I don't know. I just kind of heard a sound in my ear and decided that if I'm going to be responsible for this sound, I got to get the same sound whenever this bass comes out of the case.
Okay.
You change strings, you move your hand position, you try to strike the string the same way each time. You just try to find ways to replicate the sound that you hear, and hopefully they're able to record it.
Would it be out of place to ask you, my musician friends wanted to ask you about your harmonic approach?
About my what?
Your harmonic approach?
Well, it's kind of complicated. That's kind of like if I described to what jazz is to make it easy to understand, I would make it sound so simple that it seems that anyone can do it, and music itself is not special. So I don't try to do that.
I got you.
And to describe to them how I pick my notes and my use of chords, it's a little complicated for the phone, and the best way for them to kind of get a beat on that would be to attend a class that I teach.
Matter of fact, you're still teaching. What school are you teaching at now?
I'm at Juilliard now, where I just have 4 private students and a bass ensemble.
Oh, great.
That's enough, man.
I know what you mean, Rod. I know what you mean. Say you were in that great rhythm section of Miles Davis's back in the 60s that included Herbie and Tony. And tell us about, did Miles offer you the position? Tell us how you got that position.